Welcome back to Dum-Dums and Dragons, where improvisers who've never roleplayed before journey into the world of Dungeons and Dragons. I am the Grand Wizard Bukkake, your host. Our heroes are enmeshing themselves in their new roles in 2 separate locations. Juniper took on a squire dedicated to stopping the Great Collide. Quinny killed the spookiest of the Bonecrushers, and Reginald took on a gang of gnomes as Quinny's new apprentices. Will Juniper arrive in time to help her allies, and how will Quinny fare against Reginald's greatest rival? Find out next on Dum-Dums and Dragons.
Juniper, you have never had an apprentice before. And it's a slightly different experience than you thought it would be. A, because you never really intended to have an apprentice. B, if you did, you assumed you'd be teaching them, how to summon the light of the moon and stuff to protect them. Not basic skills of outdoor survival. And C, you sure as shit didn't think they'd be calling you Chosen One with every possible breath. So you've been traveling now for a couple days with dear sweet Pidwick Malacutius, your new apprentice, the squire of the Chosen One. What do you think you've been trying to teach Pidwick over the past few days?
I think it's more like, it's like, like Pidwick, I mean, what do you want to learn? I don't know what I can teach you. I mean, I can fight. I mean, do you want to, what do you want to get out of this?
I just want to be a part of history and help the Chosen One on her journey. I grew up listening to all sorts of stories about Chosen Ones, and I've noticed there have been a lot of major disruptions to the history of the realm. There was the Spell Plague, there was the Sundering, there's been all sorts of big things that have happened, and it would seem that, perhaps, Chosen Ones are the ones who can stop them, or cause them. Either way, I want to be along for the ride.
Okay. All right. We're going to try to stop this collide thing. First off, okay? So
he takes out a notebook and starts a checklist.
Yeah. Now, as we're doing this, you just got to make sure that you preserve your own light.
Okay.
Does that make sense? You seem like a very positive guy.
Don't lend anyone my lantern. Got it.
No. Like inner light. Also, maybe not give away the lantern. We can talk about that. That's situational.
He writes in brackets, situational. Ask Juniper. Bracket.
Oh no. I honestly think like it's like, okay, this is how you survive. I think it's like kind of like let's do the basics first in just like general travel, making sure your socks are dry. Just like we got to stop for water. We're going to have to stop for rest. The fact that I'm a changeling and maybe not get freaked out about that.
Wait, that's what that was? I thought it was a power of prophecy.
No, all of my people can do it. It's kind of something you're born with.
But you are the Chosen One, right?
I am a chosen one in the sense that my people that I grew up with chose me to
he bursts into tears and like falls to your feet, and he's just like, I'm sorry I doubted you. Oh, I'm so full of doubts. That's why they call me a doubting Pidwick.
Well, okay. Here's the thing. Chosen or not, we are not fated to succeed or fail. So it is still up to us to make sure that everything happens. So I might as well not be the chosen one and just be a person who has chosen to go on this quest. And I think you should kind of take that attitude too. Otherwise, there's a good chance that you're just going to die.
Okay, so you are the chosen one, but you're humble and clever enough to weave a web of lies to throw people off the scent. Very clever, ma'am.
You seem to be reading a lot into what's not being said and not listening at all to what's being said.
Yes, I'm an academic.
I'm a very literal person.
And I'm a very literary person. We're going to get along so well.
Oh, dear. Okay. I can't even talk about your inner light or preserving the light, can I? You're just not going to get it.
He holds up his lantern and nods. Go ahead and roll me a survival check, please, to see how well you're actually able to teach poor Pidwick to, keep
Not
his feet
die.
dry.
Yeah. Nat 20. I am an outlander, so it must make
Slap
sense.
him and say, "Smarten up, Pidwick."
Yeah, so despite his sort of overwhelming enthusiasm and complete density of mind, you do manage to kind of you realize that even though conversing with him is very difficult and circular, doing things, he's so eager to emulate you that, like, weirdly, if you just do the right thing, he'll do the right thing. So, like, it's a classic montage of, like, you wringing out your socks, and he's like, and then, like, peeling these gross, super wet socks he's been wearing for a few days off, and then wringing them out and nodding. What do you think is the upbeat, chipper song that underscores this montage of him learning how to adult in the woods?
Oh, shit.
For the record, I'm fully imagining this as, like, up till now, he's just been Michael Scott in the woods, being like, I'm just gonna cut the sleeves off, and then I can make them into, like, water containers.
And then he's awkwardly tried to sew them back on.
Exactly. Like, Pidwick
Yeah.
is in rough shape when you find him. He's
Yeah,
been
yeah.
traveling badly.
Yeah.
Laura's having a real think about this song for those of you listening at
I
home.
think it's just I Will Survive.
Okay, great. Is it the real version or the Cake version?
What? I don't know what that means.
Cake did a cover of it that has swears. Okay, so we'll say the...
This is the real version. Then?
All right.
So now
Great.
you're back
Yeah.
from fucking shit.
Yeah, honestly,
I
you're
just
not
walked in to find
you're not
you.
far up.
And then you're sucking on his dick.
And a long jacket. It's a really weird version of the song.
Yeah, the original.
Okay, great. It is as that song is rife with peaks and valleys of suspense and emotion. There are moments when it seems like he really 100% is not going to get this, and then he pulls through. And by the end, you're just like, you're both doing like the Chris O'Donnell, Robin, Kung Fu Laundry bit from Batman Forever, where you're just like slapping shirts and socks on a cable and like nodding to each other. And all in all, you think you've increased Pidwick's survival capabilities quite some, as well as you've increased your ability to travel over land quite a bit, because now he will no longer be limping due to all the horrible things he's done to his feet.
Yay.
So generally speaking, Juniper, you're even though you never intended to have an apprentice or someone to train, you find that you're actually pretty good at it. All the time you spent in the woods, and I think particularly because it has been being in the woods is such a pleasure for you that it's something that's easy to... It's like going camping with someone who loves camping as opposed to going camping with people who, like, tolerate camping.
Right.
It's very easy to get enthusiastic about what berries not to eat and so on and so forth. Your journey becomes slightly easier. I'm going to give you 1 point of inspiration for training Pidwick. You rolled a nat 20 on an incredibly weird, very low stakes roll, so I want to make sure you get something nice out of it.
Love it.
Excellent. So with that, you and Pidwick continue on towards the small farm that you think, if you squint, you can just make out in the distance. Meanwhile, Ryan, you find yourself in Machete's shop, her machete barn. And basically, you've come to the point where you want to outfit all of your urchins as ninjas. Basically, the phase we're going into for both you and Quinny as Reginald is essentially a preparation phase. So because the initial heist has occurred, this section will kind of be a bit of laying the groundwork for the arrival of the gear, the machine that's meant to assist in the ritual.
Yeah, for
obviously,
thievery round 2.
Yeah. So obviously, Quinny will jump to you in a minute to deal with like your reintroduction to alt universe Declan and what all that means. But in the meantime, Ryan, one thing I do want to flag for you is that the urchins haven't given you the full rundown on things yet. So you can outfit them, given that this was kind of your drive, you can outfit them how you see fit. And then basically it'll be time to get details on the next job. That said, if you want details on the job now, you have to figure out a way to get it surreptitiously without necessarily tipping off Ma. What do you do?
Okay, I think he'd be in there with Machete, and he'd be like, "All right, so we're down gonna do a job.
Oh yeah, eh?
I want to train up my apprentices, so I was hoping that we could outfit them as like crossbow ninjas."
Oh yeah, you want to get some crossbow ninja action going there?
Yeah, crossbows ninjas. We also need some caltrops, and if you got some shovels or axes, that'd be great.
Oh yeah, I think we got some of those around back. Okay, come on through. Machete's machete barn is again set up like a forever Christmas store, so it's just like shelves overpacked with random tchotchkes. In this case, most of the tchotchkes are like gear and weapons, but there's no rhyme or reason to them. It's not like here's where all the blades are. It's like, okay, great. There's a ninja throwing star being held up by like a ball and chain, and also a bobblehead. Like it's just truly a mess. Can you roll me, please, I'm going to go with history. Yeah. Or investigation. Let's go with investigation. That makes more sense.
Okay. And this is a skill that Reginald is very good with his intelligence, so this one will be something I have advantage on.
That is correct.
That is 19.
Great. So you're able to help the urchins and Ma loot through the shelves pretty easily. And with that roll, I'm going to say you are able to outfit all of them with... They don't have they're not pistol crossbows, because I feel like that's a little too
Specialized, yeah.
But they are small crossbows. Happily, because of the large gnome population in this area, gnome-sized crossbows are fairly common. Hers are slightly more gilt. They're well carved. They have a lot of things. It's like in Red Dead when you just go and waste a bunch of money in the gun shop, being like, add a stag to the stock. I hate it. Make it a snake now. Okay, I'm poor. It's that kind of shit where you're getting like very fancy weapons that I think you as Reginald find like vaguely offensive. Like, no, it's a crossbow. Why? No, you drop it as soon as it's out of ammo. You steal a dead guy's. Like, why would you do this? But the urchins are all very, very impressed. And you can see Ma kind of like teaching Dice how to load his arm, spring-loaded arm harnesses with caltrops. And so far, he's only hit himself in the eye once, which is admittedly a pretty good ratio for this guy.
Oh, he's doing good. So I feel like knowing Ma's teaching him and being like, all right, so then can you make sure the armor fits on all the other guys in case we got to do any repairs? And then he'd try to get Lyndon in the back of the group and be like,
All right, so I'm Quinny Brown Barrow.
Your fake voice is very impressive, Mr. Brown Barrow.
Thank you. I'm hoping it'll get us a discount. So, what do we need to do for this next heist? What do you guys know?
All we know is that the machine is coming in a shipment. Mickey is working on it right now. He said he'd have more details for us later today. But my guess is we'll probably have to infiltrate the docks.
All right, so how are you guys good swimmers?
Good one, Mr. Brown Barrow. Who would have taught us to swim? We're adorable urchins.
That's a great point. All right, so I'm a... He looks down at his body and is like, great swimmer? Okay, I'll do the water stuff. If it's coming in, we might need to get ourselves a boat, which feels like a good practice mission. Interesting. I got some ideas. Is there any oh wait, sorry, just a second. I gotta do my fake voice again. So do you got any scuba diving gear or safety vests for people to not drown in water?
She has 3 life jackets that obviously aren't made of styrofoam, so I guess they're just like, I was gonna say stuffed with bubbles because that's where my brain went. That makes fucking sense. Yeah, they're inflatable. They're clearly made of like the innards of some animal. It's like a stomach that you can just blow up.
Oh yeah, you got the old the Haggis bag 2000. That's the good stuff. Yeah, we'll take those as well. Do you know anybody who's got a small boat?
And
It's getting more and more unintelligible as we go.
she's like,
Boomhauer soon.
yeah, talking about a boat. She sighs and she says, oh yeah, I mean, you used to be able to go down to Thumb Pinky's boat shop, eh? That's where you could get the best boats, but I think they're sold out. But I mean, maybe they could whip you up one with some of their broken old ones, eh? You get a nice discount too.
All right, I'll go talk to them next. So, what do I owe ya for all this nice equipment?
All right, so we have 8 urchins. They each got ninja gear. They got crossbows. And they got specialty, like, thieves stuff. I'm going to do some gear math here. Ryan, what do you imagine the... obviously, you want to dress them up like ninjas, but what do you think ninja gear looks like in Welm?
Oh man, I feel like they wouldn't have black because this doesn't seem like that kind of area. So I feel like it's a lot of like weird army camo, but it's a little bit shinier than it probably should be. Kind of cloaks that would like theoretically help them blend in the woods, but also maybe not a little bit. And then it's just a lot of like bespoke like leather armaments that's a little more gilt than it should be. So he's gonna have to get them to like dull down weird faster stuff. He's gone as dark blue as he can with the selection available, so it'll kind of work at night.
Right.
But yeah, it's all a little like it's like it's all 20% of the spirit of Halloween version of what he'd actually want.
Okay, great. Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay, conveniently, everything you wanted to buy is roughly the same price, so that is very easy for Tommy Bad Math. Sounds like a really shitty band. Hi, I'm Tommy Bad Math, and this is multiplication tables. I don't know. That's the song.
Short set list.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't count the number of songs. All right, it's going to come to 600 gold all said and done. It's 25 for the ninja gear, 25 for the assorted, like... Basically, we're grouping, essentially, climbing kits and thieves gear. So it's kind of like $50 worth of gear, and then $25 worth of crossbows for 8 people. So 600 gold. But,
Great.
you know... I rarely get to talk to anyone from the country around here, and admittedly, as a drow moved to a farm at a very young age just so I could see the rolling hills and the blue skies, it's always so nice to meet someone from a farm, so I'll give you a discount.
Oh,
10%.
That's so nice. But you know what? I think I might need to come back here and do more business. So if you can just keep this between us, I'll pay full price.
Oh yeah, I think I could do that, don't you know? You just have to take some gift bags so no one knows what you bought.
Oh, that sounds great. I mean, I thought they were going to wear it out of the store, but your idea is better than mine.
That's why I run the business. And then she like takes out bags and starts handing them out.
And that's why I give the gold to the business.
And he takes gold out of Quinny's bag and just pays for everything.
That's amazing. She like sips her Tim Hortons double and smiles and is like, okay, well that's great. Please come back anytime. And you know, if you're not trying to keep it a secret, tell your friends, eh?
Once we get out of secret mode, I'm going to talk you up to the town, not like those gnome jabs back over at the other one.
Oh, they're no good, don't you know?
Yeah, they were real bad, but they told me about you, so that's why I got good stuff.
Oh, that's good then, eh? I won't ruin their soaps for them. I was planning on it.
Well, you know, you do what you got to do, but I'd ruin the soaps.
Tyler, your guess is as good as mine.
I'm Quinny Brown Barrow.
Classic Quinny. If this was a Family Guy or a Rick and Morty, we would now cut to key moments from throughout the series, just with Ryan doing like small town Quinny voice for all of them, like just reading like the letter butthole left in that voice, and just it'd be great. I'm never going to jail.
You're the greatest of any of us, and I think you should be king. Oh, it hurts my heart.
Excellent. So with that, you go. You and the urchins leave with your kind of sneaky gear packed in, just like massive, very quaint blue paper bags with machete barn on the outside, and then in swirling script the catchphrase. A cut above, eh? There's sparkles in the bag too, which you find really annoying, but you just kind of gotta roll with it. Sparkles and like confetti and shit. That weird like thin cut brown paper that's used to just like stuff gift purchases. But the good news is you have your gear and you have a supplier now for the rest of your needs. And with that, you go to meet Mickey and get the details of the heist. Meanwhile, Quinny as Reginald, you find yourself in, again, a large, from the looks of it, previously disused. So, like, they're getting it back up and running now, but this alchemy lab was clearly mothballed for a bit. That's under the Wizard's Tower. That said, the Bonecrusher unit is actively trying to kind of get it back up and running. There is a basically like a coffin-sized box with a lock on it, kind of in the north end of the room. You can see there's little bars and grates. You can definitely see someone moving around in there, but it's likely where they're keeping the subject of the experiment. But in the center of the room, they're setting up kind of a makeshift Raven Gate, and so it's sort of very much like oh Jesus, what the hell's the name of it? Stargate kind of deal, but very roughshod. This is definitely an improvised piece of gear, and watching all of it, of course, is your commanding officer, commander of the Bonecrushers, Declan Albrecht, the alternate universe version of Declan McCready, who traveled with Alan for quite some time.
Right.
He is kind of Ryan. He was what, like 6? Is he like 5'11"? He was
probably
smaller, right?
5'11", 6 feet. Like, yeah.
So like 5'11". His hair is long and kind of greasy in like a professional wrestler kind of way. Think like Triple H a while back, which is like the long blondish red hair. Far cry from the sharp military cut you recognized of previous McCready. He is wearing a sort of a long kind of cloak with the Horde insignia kind of clasped at his neck. Under it, he seems to have a patchwork vest that seems to have like little shreds of what look like other uniforms sort of stitched into it. If you were to venture a guess, it almost looks like defeated enemies trophies. So in stark contrast to, memories of fallen allies, it would seem that this Declan is much more happy to just celebrate the people he's killed. And he has what looks to be a modified glass staff that he's holding, unlike the one that Alan wielded. This one almost seems to be shaped. It's obviously not like a modern rifle, but think like if you've ever seen a play where people are trying to get away with like wooden muskets on stage that are just like a solid wood piece with a trigger bearing. but definitely has a stock. And he's, if we're thinking of it as a long barrel rifle made of sort of enchanted glass, he's kind of carrying it, when he's carrying it around as a staff, it's kind of barrel down, stock up. So in a lot of ways, it just looks like a half club, half staff. So less like a quarter staff. Yeah. But you can definitely see kind of where the theoretical trigger guard would be. And
so, I mean, this is all like Quinny doesn't get that kind of stuff, right? I guess if like a crossbow stock, but
you've
sounds
also
like what
seen
you're describing. He's walking around with like a canoe oar.
Yes, absolutely. It does. It definitely has that vibe. Yeah. You have seen rifles because of both with Polka and with
that's
with
right.
The
yes,
all the typhus weapons that the Unseen Hand was using. That said, I don't think this immediately signals that. Also, given your knowledge of the glass of glass staff previously, and I don't know that you would have made that connection. But yeah, it seems like a giant paddle, but the fact that it's made of glass, I think, immediately evokes spooky wizard bullshit to you. In a way that even though now you have spooky wizard bullshit, I feel like a thief never really gets over the idea that there's just people who could destroy you no matter how good you are at thieving.
Yeah.
But he seems to be staring at you expectantly, and it's very hard to read his expression. But he's definitely eyeing you. What do you think Quinny does when confronted with this man?
Well, he's heard them call him commander, so he knows and also because of the hint that Kira left of like you're the power that be on this street. Quinny's assuming that this guy is a bigger deal than Reginald. So I think he's very quickly trying to think of a time that Reginald ever did some kind of a horde salute. He knows go horde, but he's just hesitating. He's like, is that really appropriate right now? Or is that going to get me like punched in the throat? So I'm trying to recall whether I would have ever witnessed a proper horde salute from Reginald.
Can you roll me a history check?
Okay. Can I use grim psychometry on the armor that I'm wearing?
Oh.
What?
Can I use grim psychometry? So you have advantage on intelligence history checks to recall information about dark objects you are touching or dark places you are present.
I would 100% say this is an appropriate use for that.
Okay.
Oh, man.
History. Oh, +8, dude. Nice. Okay. So advantage. So that's a 5. Let's try and beat that. 18. That's better. So 29.
All right. So Tom, walk Quinny through a shadow mind palace version of Reginald's life.
When he's just like, so how does this guy salute? And then just whoa.
It's
decades of trauma.
It's a full on. You just get like 2001: A Space Odyssey, where it's just like. There was an amazing moment in the Superior Spider-Man where Doc Ock has brain swapped with Peter Parker, and he's finally won, and he's so happy about it. And then on his way out, Peter just makes him relive all of his memories, and suddenly Octavius is like, "Oh, that's why you do it." Oh no, I have to be a hero now. Because it's just like Octavius holding Uncle Ben being like, oh God, what have I done? So that's you. You're having that moment of just like you're seeing. So you have like a moment of like a chubby cheeked, like joyful little redheaded kid running around and bumping into things. And then he just kind of joyfully, like you see your father kind of striding away, and you run up to hug his leg, and you feel intense pain in your chest, and as you kind of push off of him, you see blood on your hands because his leg armor is so fucking spiky that by just trying to show affection to him one time, you cut yourself, and it's a distinct first memory of Reginald. And you kind of like look up in horror wailing at your father, who just shakes his head, says weak, and wanders away. You see early training in the nation of Akka, which is incidentally the first time you've ever seen Akka. Yeah. But it's think like a very in Warhammer terms, it's usually like the Dark Elves have this sort of stuff, but like all of the architecture is violent. It's everything is kind of that dark forged steel look. Every building on the block seems to be in some way defensible. And you kind of see what a nation founded on the worship of the god of war might look like. Because like the Spartans loved war, but they also like had home lives, whereas this really seems like, you know, we're prepping for total war. And this is the Akka of like war world as well, so it's extra spooky. You see Reginald training, and you watch as at the end of every class, one student is marched to the front of the room and executed, as the ranks are further thinned down until only the truly strongest have survived. You see Reginald's first kill. Ryan, what was Reginald's first kill and when?
It was a horse. And he was 10.
Great. So they
did that thing where they force you to raise the horse. Yeah. Because they want you to get attached to something, so you raise and train a war horse. And then at your 10th birthday, they don't tell you, but then you have to murder the horse to prove your loyalty to the cause.
What was the horse's name?
Clippity cloppity.
Yeah. That's what I was going to go with too. I'm glad we're on the same page. You see the donkey war as Reginald and what the unit that would eventually become the Bonecrushers charge sort of downhill alongside their donkey allies against a mercenary army. You see him do battle with a young hippo man before managing to not so much kill him as run away enough that other people did it and then claim credit. You see the sort of the fall of Greywater. You see the destruction of Winchester, the death of Mudbutt. You feel I think more than anything, you feel the overwhelming constant sense of dread and sorrow in a way that I think it hadn't necessarily occurred to you could be true. Even when you were like a hitman for hell, the idea of being deeply sorrowful constantly and having that not be a surprise state, like that just be a base state, is I think something that had not occurred to you. And then finally, as you kind of come out the back end of this, you see Reginald save you all from the bone giant. You see sort of glimpses of other things, but almost last you see the reunities, and you see sadness and disappointment at someone not liking him, and you see your own Quinny face across the table. But then the Bonecrushers arrive, and you see him do a very special handshake. And you realize that you can use that salute. All you had to do was endure an entire lifetime of Reginald horrors to get it.
All right. So it's a big, I think, horde faux pas, but I Quinny like falls to his knees. Like that was a lot. He falls to his knees, and then he just kind of tries to make it into kind of like a bow as he's just kind of trying to recover, and then he gets up and he goes in for that handshake and says, Commander.
And Declan says, "Oh, I keep it sexy there. I'm glad to see you're showing me an appropriate amount of deference. You know, a couple of the lads thought that maybe you decided to strike out on your own. Maybe you deserted us. But surely you wouldn't do such a thing. Someone who bows wouldn't do such a thing."
No, far from it. I
I don't know how I came to be here. In fact, I was looking forward to coming back until I heard about the plan to bring the horde over here, and I think that's just a fantastic idea. This place could use a little more horde.
Right? Go horde! And he jumps in the air.
Oh, horde!
So he throws an arm around you, and this is like classic in a movie where like someone infiltrates somewhere with like a super dangerous person, and they're like, "We're friends now, but I'm a psychopath, but we're friends now." And even just with what little you know about Declan, like he was a sociopath, but at least he was your sociopath. This guy's likely also a sociopath, but like not your sociopath. Hashtag not your sociopath. So he begins to kind of show you the operation. It would seem that you're actually the second highest ranked person here, and although he's very jovial with you, you get the sense that it's a little bit forced. That the falling to your knees thing and like kind of turning it into a bow actually did go over very well. But only because you get the sense that Declan doesn't particularly like you. It's a little too buddy-buddy, a little too over the top. That said, you can tell he's also a bit desperate. The amount of Bonecrushers here are limited, and obviously knowing how confused and vaguely upset Reginald was, and also like Juniper's been after this for a long time. Also, there's been a lot of interdimensional hijinks. You understand it's a fucking confusing, weird spot to be in, and realistically, Declan seems to be banking pretty hard on bringing this army through. He also, villain monologues at you a little bit about how excited he is to be able to sort of start fresh somewhere and kind of carve out his own kingdom. But yes, so the what you're filled in on is the operation is to attempt to force a planes shift through the gateway. They managed to. There were a number of people in your quote unquote your world. That were identified to have the ability to move between planes and dimensions. Generally speaking, they're hunted down and either indoctrinated from a young age or killed because they're too dangerous for exactly this. It's kind of one of those things where, like in Man in the High Castle or any of these other things, where it's like, yeah, if we imagine like an alternate world that's just full of war all the time, you better believe they discovered there were alternate universes and were like, don't care for that. Let's keep those guys out. Kind of in the ways people joke about, like, aliens may have discovered humanity and just been like, oh, no. Good luck. They basically, with this foreknowledge, were able to track down a potential here. And through, a fairly copious amount of torture, were able to initiate their spark. Which allows planeswalkers to move between realms. Now they've got him heavily sedated, kind of awaiting this other stuff, because it's one thing for him to jump through planes. They basically want to force it. It's a little bit like the X1 Statue of Liberty machine, where they're like, we're going to plug Rogue in and then transmit Rogue all over the place, and everybody mutants now. Except in this case, it's they're using a device to essentially use him as a prism to create this portal to bring the rest of the horde through. Currently, they've only been able to get like one or two people through at a time by like just low grade torturing him. So they're planning on really upping the game. So the Ilium's a shame, because that was really going to make things very, very easy, as well as reducing his pain quite considerably, because he would have been super doped up on magic. But happily, it was the least necessary component. It was just going to speed things up and make it a bit easier on the subject. The next thing that's being delivered is called the cranial fulcrum. It is a delicate machine that they discovered in their kind of search for answers around here, that will kind of help, if we're treating his brain as a walnut, just kind of help pry that walnut open a bit, so that they can kind of get at the gooey planeswalker abilities inside. The final piece is a focus crystal, which will increase stability of the portal quite a bit. without the cranial fulcrum, it'll be very hard to maintain the same size. So you can't like. Essentially, if in an ideal world you get Avengers Endgame, where they just create a big circular portal and the entire army just walks straight the fuck through.
Yeah.
Without that, the size is going to fluctuate drastically. So people will still be able to get through, but it's going to be kind of like a single file. Okay, we can go 2 by 2. Oh, nope, sorry, Jerry got stuck on the other side. All right, come on. Like, it's basically just going to be messy. And without the focus crystal, it will be a bit more of a jumping between blades in a video game kind of deal, where like a fan is going, and it'll be like, just time it right.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Or you'll get, Star Trek Barclay between it. So they're again sad that they don't have their fuel now with the ilium being gone, but with these other 2 pieces, they should be able to create what they need. It'll likely just cause the subject's brain to shatter, but like, who the fuck cares?
Right, yeah.
With the betrayal of Fluffy, beloved agent of chaos, and the loss of the ilium, Declan is now kind of on high alert, and says, so we've got the shipment's coming in tomorrow. It's going to be down by the docks, and we're going to need you to go down there and make sure it comes in just fine. Because the last thing we need is to lose our fucking way through, eh?
Yes, I agree. I'll see to it that it's done.
And he kind of eyes you and gestures over to Kira and basically says that Kira will be coming along. He basically like claps you both on the shoulders and like you're inseparable pals. He's just like, we're getting the old gang back together. And he says, but just make sure you keep an eye on each other, huh? We'll call it the honor system.
Of course. And what of Jin Pai? Will he join us as well?
Yeah, but he's a lower ranked guy, so like he's gonna be there, but he's at this point now you've got like a bunch of guys coming up to join the the unit. But yeah, so the catch to all of this is that so you've got the triumvirate who run the town. They're on side. Yeah. So they're all in. They love it. They're like, this is a great plan. The problem is because of their somewhat tenuous financial state and the way they've essentially driven Weln into the ground, they're actually in a pretty precarious situation. The local queen, who is admittedly a ways away, has a fairly sizable force. And if they are publicly doing anything that seems suspicious, the odds of a bunch of real fucking angry paladins and knights showing up are fairly high. So, in this particular instance, they've managed to arrange for the shipment of the cranial fulcrum. However, it has to arrive with kind of a large amount of general imported supplies. So basically, it's going to take a little bit of time to find it. This isn't an easy, it's only this. It's kind of like if you think about smugglers moving like one shipping container with illicit goods amongst 100 that aren't. So they have means of determining which box has it, but you'll basically need to do some investigation when you're down there in order to actually find it. So that kind of what Declan's warning is like, A, make sure no one else turns on us, because if Fluffy can turn, anyone can. B, you might need to be prepared to kind of take some time with this, and it needs to be done quietly.
Quietly, okay.
Because if, giant, scary, forged black armor guys show up and are like, we're just here to look for some boxes, word could very easily get to the nobles nearby, which could cause trouble for everybody.
Right. Okay.
So you have now a small squad that is kind of assigned to both you and Kira. For this, they're kind of recommending you travel light. So you could take Junpei, you could take a couple people if you want, or it could just be the two of you. But those are the parameters you've been given. And Declan smiles and says, that being said, you're a decorated Captain General. You'll do just fine. Keep it sexy. And then he goes off to deal with some other stuff.
Keep it sexy. Right, so And Kira's here?
Yep.
Yeah.
She's basically, you get the sense that even though he's kind of assigned her as your right hand, he's likely using A, both of you to keep tabs on each other, but B, seems to trust Kira implicitly, where he doesn't necessarily seem to trust you.
Sure, yeah. So I'll turn to Kira and I'll say, inform Jinpai to join us down at the docks where we're waiting for the shipment, and bring a small contingent, and we'll see if we can find this merchandise. I mean, these items.
Yes, merchandise sounds about right to me too. Yeah, I'll tell him that, and then you and I can continue to plan, because after all, partners don't let each other out of their sights. Go Horde!
Go Horde.
And then she winks at you in a vaguely cruel way and walks off to go talk to them.
Can I find a place to cry? Just a little bit.
Can I get an investigation check?
Investigation, that's a total of 10.
You look around, and there's nowhere to cry. Suddenly, Reginald's starting to make a lot more sense.
Oh, okay. Just kind of like shaky voice, like, go Horde. And then I'll go get ready to head.
So the shipment won't be in until tomorrow.
I was gonna say, like, I was about to say, do I have an ability to take a rest here?
You do, yeah. So, the shipment won't be coming until the next day. So you've got time to rest up. That said, as kind of made abundantly clear by getting a babysitter, you are expected to stay on the premises and are kind of under constant watch.
That's fine. I'm looking for a recovery here a little bit. So
Gotcha.
That's fine.
Yep, fair enough. So with those trembling words on your lips, you find a pallet amongst some other truly terrifying, like, everyone could have a cool Hideo Kojima villain backstory. In this unit, they're all monsters.
Super.
So you bed down amongst the monsters and fall into an uneasy sleep, vaguely wishing you had an emotional support donkey nearby to pat. Meanwhile, Reginald as Quinny, you and the urchins are making your way to meet Mickey at their kind of hideout here in Whelm. So obviously they've got the very cool sneeze-based pig pen in back in Hatsfield. But here they tend to meet Mickey at a local inn. What is the name of the inn?
Snuffles Funhouse.
So you arrive at a clown-themed inn with that's got like just a giant, like, think like the way Vikings carve faces, so like a giant like Viking clown over the door, and outside there is an orc with clown makeup on and like an ill-fitted wig spinning a sign, just very bored, and she says, "Welcome to Snuffles Fun House, where every day's a fun day." And the urchins are like so fucking excited, like they're bouncing, and they're just like, "This place is the best. I wonder if we'll meet Snuffles today, if the Snuffles Good Time Family Band is playing."
Hope not.
Lyndon, I need you to take me to Mickey. I'm sure this place is great, but focus on the mission. You're a brown barrow.
I'm a brown barrow. And Dicey's like, "Meat," and she just straight arms him out of the way, and she's like, "I am a brown barrow." Yeah, okay, come on. So everybody slipping a token to the clown and providing one for you. You enter into Snuffles Funhouse. Snuffles Funhouse is like a cross between a Viking long haul and a Chuck E. Cheese. So there's like wood chips on the ground, like a crackling hearth, because that's what every fantasy tavern has in my head. A bunch of long tables. You can see there are some like medieval versions of carnival games set up. So like skee ball and all that sort of stuff. There are some very tired looking mascots walking around in like really rough shod, clearly like they haven't changed their outfits in forever. Kind of like walking around and high-fiving people. This place really feels like it was very popular a decade ago and is now in decline. It's pretty empty, and weirdly, looking around, not a bad place to have a secret meeting because it is fucking dead in here. There's like a couple of like burnout teenage gnomes smoking mysterious pipes, throwing like just overarm throwing skee balls. And there's a table with a very sad human man with just a stack of pizza boxes. And when he finishes a pizza, he just kind of waves them over and they bring over another pizza. So Lyndon begins to usher you kind of deeper in. You can tell up near the back there is a small stage where various characters from the Snuffles family band are just very mechanically playing on like all fantasy instruments, so like lutes and like panpipes, but just kind of like bad covers of famous Faerun tunes. Like, you know, Teenage Dirtbags in there somewhere. Many of our obviously. So a bunch of different tracks, and it is painfully obvious that they hate being here. Incidentally, like a sad stand-up comic in a bar that doesn't really want an open mic night, everyone is avoiding the seats near this stage like the plague, which incidentally makes them very good for hiding because no one wants to be near the sad band. So you're led to a big booth with like a red and white checkered a tablecloth. It has unlimited soda, so like that's going to be nice at least. And as you get settled, Lyndon knocks on the wall 3 times, and you hear skittering as a rat comes sneaking out of a hole in the wall and along the edge of the booth. From the minute you walked in, you knew this place was a health hazard, and you really weren't planning on eating the pizza here anyway, so it's not too much of a concern until the rat stops near you. Says, "Hey, is this guy Quinny?"
Yes, I'm Quinny Brownbarrow.
Holy shitballs. That is some pretty good news. My name's Mickey the rat. Good to meet you. And then he tries to, like, full on Ratatouille, like, sits up and tries to shake your hand.
I'll shake his hand. I'll do that. My hand is small. This makes sense to me.
It's like, thanks for shaking my hand there, but a lot of people don't do it. It's a habit from my old life. Didn't always be a rat, you know? It's kind of stuck like this now.
Interesting. So, what were you originally?
I was one of them elfy guys. You know, pointy ears, good at magic.
And now?
I'm a rat.
How did that happen?
Well, listen,
I'm Quinny. I care about people.
You do. That's good to know. I mostly know you by reputation as a thief. But
I also steal things, but I care about people and their interests.
It's good. You steal things and you steal hearts. That's a good way to be. Yeah, listen, so, you know, sometimes people put on disguises, you know, fake noses and the like. Me, no, I'm an all-in kind of fella, so need to get some information. Figured it'd be easier as a rat. So got a mage to turn me into a rat, and it worked real good. Was able to get in, get all the information I needed, and get out. Fortunately, when I got out, the mage was gone. So, ha-cha-cha, now I'm this. And he does like a little like clap dance.
Well,
and Reginald's head is like, okay, what would he say? Well, he'd probably try to make this guy feel good about it, so...
You must save a lot of money on food bills.
That is true. That is true, though. I gotta tell you, I wish I still had taste buds. We rats, we can kind of eat anything. Kind of don't care. Kind of indiscriminate, like. But I can still smell the pizzas, and, you know, they still smell so good. You heard about phantom limbs? Yeah, I got a phantom stomach, you know?
Do you want us to order you a pizza? I really need information on this heist, and I don't know how much of this social dance we're supposed to do.
Oh, not too much. You know, it's just nice talking to another fellow master thief. I won a thiefy myself back in the day, back before they were calling them Quinnies. It's gonna be good to work with. He leans in. He's like a proper villain for a while. These kids, they mean well, but they're not great at thieving.
Yeah.
Have you
I'm
seen
trying
the
to-
kid with the things up his sleeves yet? Has he showed you that?
Yes, we're changing that.
Thank you. I fucking hate that. No one listens to the rat, but I fucking hate that. All right, I think we're gonna get along just fine. Yeah, listen, let me bring you in on the score. Also, may I say, it is a true honor to meet you there, sir. Been looking forward to one day getting to work with you.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to this too. So, how do I steal this thing? What do you got?
Well, should we talk in thieves' camp? That's okay. You know what? I'm not too good at beatboxing myself. I always kind of hated it, but just figured I'd give you the option.
Yeah. No. Let's not.
Yeah, cool. Good thing there's not a listening audience who will be disappointed by this turn of events. All right,
I'm
great.
disappointed.
I think, by Freaky Friday rules, I don't think the body knows how to beatbox, but
doesn't.
the brain doesn't.
No. Also, I got to imagine the talking rat is not great at the beatboxing.
No.
Now, helping you cook like a ratatouille for a jaded critic, he's got your back. So Mickey basically explains that as a rat, he actually has incredible amounts of access, particularly in towns like this that are a little bit more run down. So knowing that there was a wizard tower here, he made his way out here quite some time ago, and unfortunately found that the nobles were pretty broke. But with all the alchemical stuff in the basement, it seemed like too good an opportunity to pass up. What he basically learned is that there used to be a wizard who founded the town and lived here kind of as its defender, which tracks with the way the tower is designed. However, being kind of the solitary defender of a town grew to be too much for him, and eventually he the solitude kind of crushed him, and he disappeared. Left the tower, left the town, and eventually nobles moved in, and it was a couple generations ago. But it means he left all of his cool shit in the tower, which was fine until all these guys showed up. So what Mickey's been able to ascertain is much like what Quinny and Reginald just heard. There's a shipment of a major piece of machinery, a crystal, and the ilium, all of which are worth huge money to the right buyer. Now, the rest of the tower is also worth a lot, but with all the murderous thugs living in it now, it will be very difficult to get that. But the stuff that's being brought in can potentially be picked up. In terms of the upcoming heist, Mickey's been able to ascertain from the dock rats he hangs out with that there is a major shipment coming in. It's an unmarked box, but that what he calls the stabby brain machine will be in one of those boxes. So basically, best odds as he sees it are to intercept the shipment. There's no way to intercept it on the boat. It'll have to be once things come ashore. But there is a window potentially before the bad guys show up to collect it where you might be able to sneak in and get it. That's as far as he's gotten, though. You can also tell from talking to him, things like infiltration he's very good at. He seems to have a hard time tracking details. And you don't know too much about transmutation, but you're guessing that trying to stuff a human's worth of brain process into a rat's brain is likely a bit of a losing prospect. So he's helpful, but he doesn't have like a master plan for you. He seems like he's 50% there, Incidentally, this also could be your future if you are stuck in this Quinny body.
Okay.
For a week.
Here's a question I have for you, Mickey Rat. I almost called you Mickey Mouse. I wouldn't do that to you.
No. Oh, you want to get sued? No, Mickey the Rat. That's me.
Do you think we could fit this stabby brain thing into, let's say, a bag of holding?
I mean, yeah, but it'd probably take some doing. As I understand it, bags of holding don't, they open pretty big and you can drop a bunch of stuff in. But I know at least the one I had, the mouth on the bag wasn't huge,
Okay, we've got ideas here. All right, so we've got a crew of gnomes who can help me lift things once we get in there. I can sneak in to identify it. What I need is a way for them to either let me onto the ship, or I can go in invisibly. Probably better to go in big and then throw some things off the scent. All right. I think I'm gonna need some stilts. I've got a crafty plan for how we can infiltrate this.
So I think he'll send the rest of the gang, not Lyndon and Dice, because they seem the most actually focused. And he'll plan with them and send the others to go play games and be like,
Cheat as much as you can. Don't get caught. Let's get cool prizes off of that wall.
and then he'll sit down and plan. And basically, do you want me to go over this now, or should we go over it the next morning, Tom? What's
we
your
can go
vibe?
over it the next morning. Just
right.
yeah, you have your details. Where do you bed down for the night?
We'll go back to their sty place because that seems the safest.
Okay.
And then I'd say after, so they like play games and cheat and win shit for an hour. And then he takes them back. And then I'd say he probably runs them through like a group firing range of how to use crossbows for like 2 hours because he just doesn't want them to either drop them, shoot each other, or not know how to reload.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be all he'll think he can learn them. And then sleep.
You're gonna stay at the pig pen?
Yeah, that seems like the safest place.
Okay. So you're back in Hatsfield. So it's...
Oh, wait, that's that far away from the job? Damn.
Yeah.
Machetes doesn't have rooms. Is there like a place we can rent inns?
Yep.
Does the Funhouse have rooms?
For ease of this, yes. They do. They're shocked, like astounded when you ask if they have rooms, because they do. Just no one except Pizza Guy wants them. And... it's the orcish clown from outside, and they're like, "Oh, hey, you want? Oh, wait, I'm not spinning the sign anymore. I don't need to talk like that anymore. Yeah, we got rooms. You really want to stay here?
Yes, it's what my crew wants."
And he looks over his shoulder, and there's just a bunch of urchins be like, "Yay, skee ball!" And he's like,
They worked hard today. I'm Quinny. I believe in rewarding people for hard work. At least I wish I did.
Sounds like you'd make a great king. All right, follow me." And just like the saddest, like, "Cranky, honky, honky, honky," clown shoe walk as the clown takes you upstairs, and shows you to a fairly large room. Admittedly, like, this seems like the actual building itself, pretty solid, well done. Would have been a great place. They just chose a real weird theme for it. So it's actually a very nice room, if very unused. Everything is clown themed, which is exhausting, but what are you going to do? As you open the door, you just start hearing like a doot 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 doot. And he's like, "That's the door alarm. You can disable that if you want. Just clap 3 times and say, 'I've had a fun home day, and now I would like some quiet, please.'" All right,
I'll leave
well,
that on. It makes me feel safe if it goes off when someone comes in.
it always does. Well, thank you for visiting Snuffle's Fun Home. Bye. Squeaky, 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 squeaky.
Right.
And you have a room with the urchins. They don't get a bed, but you do.
Yeah, that's right. That's what Quinny would do. He loves sleeping.
And then he looks down and he realizes it's like the room is now full of like shopping bags from Machetes. So they're just like small urchins sleeping everywhere. And he's like,
"Oh, I know what Quinny would do." And then he takes off his armor because he's trying to be like Quinny. He gets into bed and he's like, "Oh, this is so restful."
and he tries to force himself to go to sleep.
And with that, you fall into a begrudgingly restful sleep.
This episode of Dum-Dums and Dragons features the voices of Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter, Laura Elizabeth at EL Hamstring on Twitter, and our fantastic DM Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode was edited by Ryan LaPlante, and all of Dum-Dums and Dice's art is by Decapitated Markers, or at Decapitated Marker on Twitter. That's MRKR. Our theme songs are And Now for That Massive Coronary and Skipping Through the Orchestra Pit Part 1 by Peter Gresser, and our ad music is No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAH DUMDUMZZAR, all available at freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. But most importantly, we've got merchandise at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, or you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDUMBDICE. And tune in next week for more Dum Dums and Dragons. Dum Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time: Christian Menicola, Long, the Half-Blind Prophet, James Cuellar, Charles Grams, Christopher Little, Olin Anderson, Sue One, George Dolby, One True Artistry, Orion Birchfield, Lord of Bradovic, Noel Lewis, Scott Garland, Anthony Griffin, Zekin X, Jordan Neesmith, Benjamin V, Gavin and Abby McDonald, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.